Photography is often called the universal hobby. It is a means of creative expression within the reach of people in all walks of life.
I love photography. Yeah, I love it a lot. I like working with film, and I like an analog process because it feels more personal. It's definitely more tactile. Digital photos feel so intangible to me. I can't touch the thing, you know?
It speaks a language that everyone can understand. The camera lens is a mechanical eye, seeing everything and recording everything.
Whether or not a photo is quote-unquote good, I think there's a lot of qualities that photos have, and I think each photo has a different quality. And so even like a technically bad photo can, I think, be really cool.
Got some sunlight coming through already.
The project that I'm working on is called Care Before Profit, a diabetic perspective on healthcare under capitalism. And really it's about people making money off of chronically ill people. These photos are meaningful to me because I've made them while dealing with the challenges of the disease. The project is culminating on November 1 at the Art Hop downtown Kalamazoo. I'll be at Park Trade Center, and I'm being hosted by Recreation Collective.
New applications for photography are constantly being discovered, and new materials and tools are being produced.
The art itself is a reflection of what it is like to live with diabetes, a practice in accepting and embracing imperfect results in a complex and, at times, unpredictable process.
This story of insulin is told you by two men, Professor Charles Best, who, the late Sir Frederick Banting, discovered insulin. In the center is Dr. R.D. Lawrence, himself one of the first to receive insulin.
The doctor at my hospital wrote and said, I hear there's something for diabetes called insulin. It sounds good. And I said, well, I'm not paying any attention to it until you know more about it. I'm not going to believe or hope for a thing.
I'm also printing them onto like the fine print of the diabetic supply or drug fine print, Like I've already printed a lot of like middle finger, the test strip sign. I'm trying to incorporate some nature into the project. This is the roll. See, that's not the same image, but that's, oh my gosh. Okay, there's the image. This is the top left. So this bit of the landscape here, that's what we're looking at. So I trimmed the wrong edge. Not a problem.
To get good negatives, he must master the chemistry of photography. Making the prints is the most important step.
This is the first time I've done it in my shed. I usually do this inside. I usually use my bathroom and the bathtub for washing. You don't get to see that though. That'll cost you.
Good printing can only be learned through long practice and study. All the previous work and the success of the whole job depends on the final print.
This project that I've been working on, I felt a need to do something productive and do something tangible other than just removing the signs and taking a picture and putting it on social media. It's an evolution of the project that I started in 2019 with just the removal of that first sign.
When you found that even chemical pathology was too much for you, what did you do then?
Oh, I went home for a bit, but I couldn't bear the atmosphere of dying at home.
Dying?
Well, I knew I was going to die. Everybody of that age with diabetes then died within 4 or 5 years, whatever they did.
The patent for the insulin, it was sold to the University of Toronto for $1 because the people involved in patenting it wanted it to be accessible and free. Now people are dying because they don't have access to it because they can't afford it. That's my middle finger. It's in a Tri-X box. That's pretty cool. I'm just gonna do my best. The wind ripped it right out of my hand. Can you tell I'm new at this?
Did my first cyanotype about a year ago, and then I didn't do any, but I concocted this idea to do it this way over the winter. Then I did my first tests of these like in March, I think. I'm just gonna hopefully put it in here. It irritates me that it's folded, but I'm just gonna leave it. So I did some, I'm not really into self-portraits, but it felt important, so I did some self-portraits for this show. I mean, it's kind of my story, you know? And that feels like in a lot of ways, I'm the subject matter, even when I'm not pictured. I don't know, I wasn't thinking about like the sequence of things until like now, but the idea of having like the nature photos kind of representative of like my progression from like a really angry and consumed with anger space towards like something that's more, you know, serene. And I just have all these inkjet
Oh, nice,
around,
yeah.
like diabetic supply boxes and stuff. So.
The signs are exploitative and predatory and are typically found in low-income and underserved neighborhoods across Kalamazoo. They leverage the oppressive nature that is inherent in capitalism. These signs pit life-saving medical supplies against rent, food, and other life essentials.
I was having the same issue with those wire hangers, so I'm like, now that they're up, I'm not gonna fucking touch them because I don't want it to pop out.
And I think that, I think this still has.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Like
Okay.
there,
I'm gonna-
yeah, for sure. I have 100 speed film in right now, which is not ideal. Like a lot of the nature photography that I do is just like while I'm out, like camping or doing day hikes or something. I'm not necessarily going out intentionally to take photos. I wish those lights weren't on those buildings back there. 400, right? Yeah, 400 with like, 1.7 lens is pretty good right now. Hold on, geese. But I can tell it's tilted, so like the tripod's level, but the camera's tilted to the right.
Engaging with and immersing myself with the natural world softens the suffering that I experience as I move through my life with diabetes.
You aim and shoot.
Ready? So it just popped open. And then so the film, it was down here and it just gets stretched back over.
Just what place you might take in this growing industry depends on your abilities and inclination.
I can't believe how stressed I was when like my whole summer was like blown up by my job situation. And I was like, I was gonna be done with these. And so like I just printed like mad.
And like sometimes you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like 2 months of just like crazy grinding.
Yeah.
Consider the images of nature and the medical materials onto which the images are printed. As you take it in, I encourage you to consider, what does it feel like to live in an economic system that values profits more than one's own life, and in a culture that keeps that system thriving? Cyanotype is one of the first photographic processes discovered. I printed all of these images using only natural sunlight at various times of the day, in 3 different seasons, and under both clear and cloudy skies.
Having the work be observed publicly feels important to, bring awareness to what it's like to live with a chronic illness in a for-profit healthcare system. And then, the public nature of the test strip signs.
The process produces a monochrome blue-colored print reminiscent of the blue that signifies none other than type 1 diabetes, Diabetes Awareness Month, and World Diabetes Day. Thanks a lot. Whoever's putting up these signs are like buying them from low-income folks generally, and then reselling them for a profit to people who are underinsured or uninsured. You know, and still end up paying a lot for them. Can you talk about these zines?
Yeah.
So these zines, on some of the zines, they support Team One International, which is a nonprofit that doesn't take any money from big pharma or medical corporations. So we like them because they don't want to be in their pockets. And then I like to say that it's like these test strip signs. It's the subject matter, right? But the project is really more broad about what healthcare looks like under capitalism. Through the production of the work, I have created agency and meaning for myself and, I hope, for others living with chronic illness. I actually struggled with putting prices on our work. You know, now it's Diabetes Awareness Month, so I'm of the belief that diabetes-related artwork should benefit patients, and the work is also like an objection to capitalism. So I really struggled with whether or not to put prices on. Ultimately, I decided not to. I started printing zines 2 years ago because it's discouraging to be making like these physical photos and then just converting them to this digital format. I don't know, well, you can't, I don't feel like aren't enough outlets for all that, So even when I really love a photograph, I don't always know how to share it, Finally putting myself out there earlier this year to like connect with other local photographers and local artists, and then being able to find this public space thanks to Olive at Recreation Collective. It's just been really meaningful and really like enriching to be able to connect with the community that way and feel supported.
Photography in one form or another exerts a great influence on our daily lives.
Thank you.